and welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and video show which brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, and experience from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you won't miss a new lesson. I'm your host, Frits Bussemaker, and today I'm delighted and privileged to have a conversation with Walter Werzowa. Walter, welcome to the program.
Fritz, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Let me introduce you briefly to our audience. You are an Austrian composer with over 30 years experience in the music industry. A couple of highlights I'd like to share with you. You joined the AI team to co-write Beethoven's 10th Symphony, which was performed with Robin Williams. You earned the music credits on Steven Spielberg's Minority Report, Mortal Kombat, Mercury Rising, also films you've worked on. And most famous, you are the composer of the Intel Bong, which I believe is the most performed audio branding mnemonic in the world. So again, even more to cover. Last thing, you're also a university professor at the University of Music and Performing Arts in Vienna. And we're going to talk about the power of music. Walter, again, thank you so much for being on the Brand Called You. When we talk about the Brand Called You, it's obvious about you are on center stage. When you introduce yourself to somebody, how would you introduce yourself? As the composer, as I did, or would that be something else?
Such a great, gentle question. In all the side notes, they would call me composer, producer. I don't see myself as that. I'm a searcher, and I'm a person who got extremely lucky in life. It's like things fall into place. It's just, I left Austria at the right moment in the beginning of the 90s and post-graduated at USC in Los Angeles. And there was this one moment which made all the difference. A friend told me that Disney was looking for trailer composers. And you know, it's like my English wasn't that great at the time, and I didn't really know what trailers are. And I made kind of fun with it. And so I put together a audio cassette, a Chrome. Oh, it's that old. And I yodeled a little bit, and I said, I'm a great composer, and then had some cow mooing and mountain ripples, and call me at 213-500-5030, my cell phone. And I didn't really take it serious. I didn't want to make fun with it, but I had fun with it. A month later, I'm getting this call from Disney and saying, hey, we really enjoyed your tape and we want to talk to you. It's marketing department, and obviously you know marketing. So worked half a year at Disney trailer department, learned so much there, and thought, now I want to be my own business, and that's so easy in the States. And from then on, it grew organically. And another like call which changed my life was I did this main titled Eraser, and a month later Hans Zimmer calls. And first I thought somebody's joking and faking he's Hans Zimmer. It's like, because it was his British accent, and at the time I thought Hans would have a very German accent, so I didn't believe him. I was kind of struggling, hey, is it Hans, is it not Hans? And it's great conversation, and met and became friends. And then the call with Matthias Ritter out of the blue. Hey, Walter, would you like to write a symphony with Beethoven? If any of you listeners is getting the call, you don't take this serious. So it's like I'm joking around again. And 3 years later, we had this world premiere where Beethoven's 10th was finished. And I was integral part of the creative team, of the composers team. So a credit with Beethoven.
Okay, to be honest, Walter, I don't believe it for 1 second that it all comes down to coincidence that you wait until the phone rings, because that's the way you describe it. It's too easy. There has to be something you've done that people know you're the person to call.
Yes, I always did my homework. It's like I love to create, I love to work, and the first 15 years in the States, I did not have one holiday. It's like I really enjoy working, and weekend, I didn't know how to spell weekend. It was great. There was always so much work, and exploring and innovation and learned how to teamwork. So yes, of course, I didn't sit in front of the phone and I didn't wait for those 3 calls. They happened while I was working.
I understand that, but can you take us through, you mentioned you got the call from Disney, but I'm curious about those examples I mentioned about, well, working with Steven Spielberg on Minority Report. Can you briefly take us through who called who, and how much freedom do you have, or are you then very constricted and do as I tell you to do?
Oh, the wonderful side effect working with those incredible people. They are positive, innovative people. They guide you and they don't command you. None of those, like neither Steven Spielberg or inventors I worked with, would tell you, you got to do this, I need this tomorrow. There are schedules, but the schedules are not in the foreground. You need to deliver something amazing in time. You don't have much time, you have constrictions, but those are not in the foreground. In the foreground is that person who inspires you. He tells you what you dream of and what can you do. It's like what could be innovative. And Spielberg when he did Minority Report, there was hardly any of this technology out there. Andokov, like the person who was an MIT professor, built all these machines for him. He was the first to have a gestural control to make it work with Tom. So Tom on the set, this is not a trick. This is not a make-believe. Those things worked. And Spielberg had this innovative, amazing thought who said, you know what, this could work. I have to find a team to make that work. Same with the Beethoven call. It's like Matthias Röder, he's a Harvard graduate, musicologist. They had somebody else that didn't really work out, and then they got my name and that I love composing and classic and modern and technology. And I was at the time in Vienna. And so there was this beautiful moment where the stars aligned and I got the call, and we connected right away. And also here, it wasn't, hey, Walter, I need you to program the artificial intelligence tomorrow and need to do this. It was, we're always growing together. And that's the beauty of those jobs, that you are at a certain level and you know once this job is done, you're on this level together.
Okay. I have to ask us before we move on, comparing those two, what's more scarier? You could say finishing Beethoven's 10th or working with these Hollywood stars?
Actually, when so jokingly versus said to Matthias, yeah, of course I want to write a symphony with Schoenberg and I rattled a couple of names down and the Beatles and Nine Inch Nails. And he said, oh, no, just focus. We do Beethoven first. And I knew he meant it. He really meant what he said. And I said, Beethoven's dead. I said, I know, but we have ways that you can co-write with Beethoven. So I really that sparked my interest. And at the time, 4 years ago, this was really not the usual, that artificial intelligence was not a household name. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, I said yes. It's like, and with those things, I would always say yes. That's my go-to moment. It's like I would never say, why would you do it? Or this is not possible. And I think that's a big part of my career. And but that night, when I went to bed and I thought, hey, you want to write with Beethoven? That's insanity. It's like I felt like an imposter, like a liar, small. It's like all the worst adjectives you can give to a composer and imposter. I didn't feel good, and I thought I have to call now and say I'm not capable to do this. This is impossible for any human to do. Luckily, next morning I talked to Ahmed Elgamal. He is the person behind the algorithms and the mathematics and science, and he was just incredible the way he explained it. and sparked further interest. He said, we need to do it with AI for following reasons. A, no human being could do the job by him or herself at this point. I said, why? See, because you have a different experience now. You did listen to the Beatles and Rolling Stones and Schoenberg and Rachmaninoff, so you're in a different experience level. You cannot, even if you're an amazing writer, you cannot handshake with Beethoven this time because you are in a different universe, so to say. And only artificial intelligence could exactly match that experience level. We can't teach the artificial intelligence to know everything about what Beethoven wrote, everything that influenced him and was relevant at the time. And so that eye to eye was such an important moment and sparked again my interest. And it wasn't about giving him the books of harmony and musicology, and because Ahmed said, you know what, if artificial intelligence learns only the books, it might sound boring, it might sound like a mediocre student. But what makes genius is that you look beyond the surface, that you are making what some people call mistakes. You break rules, you are innovative, and that energy is that energy which then sparked my interest. Is it? I'm all in.
Great. Hey, well, you mentioned a couple of things which made me curious. First of all, who are your role models? Oh, are those fellow composers, or do you have other type of role models to guide you in your career?
There are many. I think that somehow any human has qualities which are incredible and unique. But of course, the ones in Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and in that world, I had an incredible mentor, Otto M. Zukan. He was a composer and performer of incredible brilliance. I had teachers at USC like Jerry Goldsmith, Bruce Broughton, David Raksin. Those are the top composers, film composers of the world at the time who were alive. And they're so inspiring. And I do believe that anybody can inspire you and bring you to the next level. It could be in that store where you buy your milk carton that this person is saying something which inspires you and you write that symphony.
Okay, good answer. One question, then I'm going to follow on. First of all, you said you made an interesting connection between mistakes and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you see innovation? Sometimes we need to make mistakes to go into new paths. Otherwise, we keep on doing the same thing. I mean, that in your domain.
Definitely, that we allow mistakes and that we don't beat ourselves up. And of course, if I want to practice my scales on the piano, there are certain ways how you expect that to be, and you could say this is a challenge if you do this or that. But here's another anecdote. When I was living in LA, this colleague called me. He has a design company, UN company, and said, "Oh, I have this main title for a big blockbuster movie. It's Eraser with Schwarzenegger, Vanessa Williams." And the director really did not like the music to the main title. He liked my visuals, of course, and said, "And I need some music." And I said, "Okay, I can give you something next week." He said, no, I need it tomorrow. Tomorrow's the next meeting. So those main titles are 2-3 minutes. Of course, again, I said yes, first reaction. And I spent the whole night composing, sound designing, thinking what to do. And I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm so tired and playing a melody in, and I'm pushing 2 keys at once, a mistake. At least I didn't want that sound. And I'm listening back and I think, wow, this is actually much richer than what I thought it should or could be. And I left that mistake in there. and it became my first major credit. It's like they loved it and they put it into the movie, and it was the first in history that somebody who didn't even at the time have an agent and coming out of a garage did a main title, a big blockbuster movie in one night. And that really gave me confidence, and I don't believe in the word mistake. It's like, yeah, you want to have a different version, you can have a different version.
Okay, so other people might call that a brilliant mistake.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good one.
Quick question before I move on to the serious side of music, because I also want to discuss that and have your take on that. The Intel Bong, it's the most recognized or played jingle, as I mentioned. Does it bore you after so many times hearing this, or are you? How do you still own it, or is it now part of Intel and it's not yours anymore?
Intel controls the copyright, of course. They have to. It's the namesake. It's like it represents them, and that was the power of it. That 3 seconds of music tell the whole brand experience. And in '92, when it was released, beginning of the year, the brand awareness of Intel was 26%. Half a year later, with the release of the mnemonic, it was 86%. So adding this 3 seconds of music to those commercials propelled the brand awareness. That's the power of music. And I was ashamed of it for some time because it's 3 seconds of music. I mean, you study classic music and things are super complicated and at least 10 minutes or half an hour long, and it's only 3 seconds. I wouldn't tell anybody. My kids knew, and so whenever we were in the car, they would say, "Oh, that is music." It's just, so that made me very proud. It's like, I'm glad that my kids totally appreciated it, but I would not tell the professors at my university. And now we talk about it and they think it's incredible. It's like, and it's a testament how powerful music is.
That's a great segue to, let's talk about the serious side of music, as it were. Because so now, today we've discussed, okay, how music can help promote a brand, how music can help with a film and finish Beethoven's 10th. But I also know we discussed that you see music as a way to really improve the world, to improve health. Can you take us, in the time we have left, to those topics, how you want to promote music in that role?
Love to thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, when my youngest son was 5 years old, he got a diagnosis of leg perthes. Leg perthes is an awful syndrome illness. The femur, so the hip joint, falls apart, there's necrosis and grows back again. Painful. Of course, you can't run, you can't move. 5-year-old boy, energetic, devastating. My wife, when we talked to the hospital said surgery, 2 years in bed or metal braces. So let's try something different. And we did osteopathy, acupuncture, strict diet, and sound and music healing. And a year later, he was running. And UC and UCLA Health, our 2 hospitals, couldn't believe it. And the beautiful thing was, they said, "How did you guys do this? We want to learn from you." And suddenly it dawned on me that this is almost a miracle. It's like, and miracle has always such a weird meaning in medicine, but you could see it. I saw it. We saw it on the X-rays, and it was clear that music was a huge part of that. And so I wanted to give back. I was very lucky in my life, and I'm at a point where I said, I found a nonprofit, and I got the name Health Tunes, and it was available to me and trademarked. And pretty much from the first month on, it spread nicely, and hospitals are adopting with it. We have, even in Atlanta, 300 hospitals using health tunes, and you can use it at home for anxiety or sleep challenges and pain, and so many use cases, side effects in chemotherapy. Very curated music can help you. And we all know it because we listen to a lot of music and self-medicate. But once you know what helps you even more, you can, it's like precision music. And we're adding binaural beats to that, to the music you prefer. And that's a powerful mixture.
Okay. Oh, unfortunately, I have to move on to my last topic because it's so fascinating. I think we could cover a whole episode on music and health in this case. But I want to end also, Walter, with your take on how music can help with world peace. And the minute we discussed that, I realized I start to think about the drums an army uses or bagpipes to actually get people into a war mode, to get them battle ready. But how can you use music to create an enhanced peace?
Yeah, it's one big efficacy, one power of music is association and memory. So some politicians use or abuse music for certain political movements, and they become one and trigger that. We are at this point now where we know, and I've seen it, like when I'm conducting orchestras, that in the orchestra there might be the first violin from one country and the bass player is from a different country, and they really don't get along in normal life. And they play together, they listen to each other, and they become one. And we know physiology is changing. We literally become one. Our heart rate entrains, our breathing entrains, our mind, our emotion entrains. And Secretary of State Lincoln heard about that and started the music diplomacy initiative. Dave Grohl and Herbie Hancock and Quincy Jones are part of it, and the Grammy Association, and bringing music into health negotiations. And it's so powerful because with no lyrics, there's no language barrier. There's no interpretation of, is this lyric this or that or here and there. And music has this overarching power. And if I may tell you some hospital stories, like there was this patient, it was clear last stage of cancer, and this poor man, he knew he had 1 or 2 days left on earth. And when Klaus asked him, what kind of music would you like to hear? Because we love to give them the opportunity to listen to music and to bring them up. He said AC/DC. And it's like when you hear that somebody's dying and AC/DC, how does that work? And may I ask you why? And he said, I love AC/DC, and my wife hated it. So for the last 40 years, I barely listened to it. I'm going to listen to it now.
Great. Yeah.
We brought it, and he moved on in peace with a smile.
Oh, I can understand. I can relate to that, AC/DC, to be honest. Couple of last questions, Walter. In your life, how do you look at success? What success? Is that the music for Hollywood and Intel, or is that the more meaningful work? What is success for you?
I think that Hollywood is that nice cake you eat after a good meal. It's not the most important, but it's delicious to have. I don't define myself with that success, but it's part of myself. Success is if you can do what you like to do. And if this is being with your loving family, that's success. If it's with your loving family and work the jobs you want to do, which I'm doing, that's to me the biggest success.
Great. That's already an answer to a question I haven't asked yet, and that is advice to young people starting out their own career and that love what you do. And
love what you do, yes. Enjoy what you do, and learn every day. Like really learn. It's like be open for it. It's like don't be afraid of making mistakes. I think that's probably one of the biggest wisdoms. We all make mistakes, and don't beat yourself up.
Because mistakes lead to innovation and great new paths to explore. How do you want the world to remember you?
Oh, well, I was never asked that. The world, that's difficult. My family, loving. The world, I would enjoy if they listen to my music, and if that music can do something positive in the mind, in their bodies, and with their emotions.
Great. Well, Walter, I'm going to remember a great interview, too short. It was an honor and a pleasure to talk to you about your insights, what music can do, and what it brought you. So again, Walter, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.